Two-step equations. So we've done one-step equations. Two-step equations are just an extra step involved. The hardest thing is knowing where to start. So where do we start with two-step equations? Well, we're undoing the equation. So when we think of order of operation, where we do brackets, orders, so powers and root signs, then we do times and divide, then we do addition and subtraction. Well, when we're undoing something, we're going in the opposite order. So we're going to do our addition and subtraction first before we do our multiply and divide. So that gives you a little bit of a clue where to start. So A, we've got 5x plus 7 equals 37. So we're going to do the plus 7 first. The opposite to plus 7 is take off 7. So we're going to minus 7 from both sides. Okay, this one crosses off. Don't forget to write down your 5x equals 37 take away 7 is just 30. Once we do that first step, we're left with a one-step equation. So this is 5 times x equals 30. What's the opposite of timesing by 5? Well, that's divide by 5. The 5's cross out to give us x equals 6. Remembering to check your solution, put the 6 where you see the x. So 5 times 6 is 30, plus 7 is 37. So, yep, correct. So these you should all get right in your test because you can check your answers. So if you don't get it correct, then go back and see where you went wrong. Okay, so minus 9 is what we're going to tackle first. Opposite of minusing 9 is plusing 9. Okay, so the 9's cross out. We get 8x equals... Okay, 79 plus 9 is 88. We then need to divide by 8 because it's 8 times x. The opposite of timesing is dividing. Cross it out. X equals 11. Now, you're not always going to end up with whole numbers. So don't worry if you have a fraction or a decimal. It's not always going to be whole numbers. So let's check it. 8 times 11 gives us 88. Take away 9 is 79. That is correct. Okay, so like I did at the end, we substituted in to see if our answer was correct. So here they've given us an equation with an answer of 11, and they're asking us to substitute in to see if we've got the correct answer. So where we see x, we're going to put in 11, and both sides need to equal each other in order for this equation to be correct. So I've just put the 11 in instead of the x. 3 times 11 is 33, minus 9 equals 36. 33 minus 9 is 24 equals 36. Does 24 equal 36? No. So that is not a solution. That is not correct. Okay, so if that was your answer, then you go, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to try again. Here we have 49 minus 5x equals 29. We're going to substitute the 4 in to see if our answer was correct. So we're going to write down 49 minus 5 outside of 4, which means 5 times 4 equals 29. We're going to do our times first. So 49, 5 times 4 is 20 equals 29. What's 49 take away 20? It's 29 equals 29. Does 29 equal 29? Yes. So that is a solution. Solve the following. Now these ones are just formatted a little bit differently. So it may scare some of you. You may not know where to start. With this one, we've got 9 minus 7x equals 5. Now this is a plus 9 at the front. We don't need to write that plus because if we write the normal numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we don't put a plus in front of them. We just know it's a positive number. So it's an invisible plus that sits in front of all numbers that we don't need to. There's lots of things that sit around the numbers. There's a decimal on the other end, a plus in front of it, but we don't write them all down. We can put plus 9 point over 1. It just still means 9. So all these invisible things that we're just assuming are there. So what's the opposite to plusing 9? It's take away 9. So we're going to take 9 off both sides. Okay, so that crosses out. We're left with minus 7x. Okay, and what is 5 take away 9. 5 take away 9 is minus 4. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We're going to say, okay, it is minus 7 times x. What's the opposite of minusing 7? It's divide by 7. And you're not going to have a whole number at the end. Okay, so we're going to cross the minus 7's out. We're left with x. Here we can cross the x's out. We don't need, we can cross the minuses out. A minus and a minus makes a plus. We're just left with 4 on 7. We can check that. Minus 7 times 4 on 7 is minus 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. A little bit trickier. 17 equals 8 minus 4x. That's a plus 8. Okay. The opposite of plussing 8 is minusing 8. So minus 8 from both sides. 17 take away 8 is 9. The 8's cross out. And we bring the minus 4 down, minus 4x. We're now going to divide by minus 4 because we want to get the x on its own. So don't think, oh, we're going to divide by 9. We in fact want this x on its own, and x at the moment is times by minus 4. So we're going to divide by minus 4. Cross the x's out to x. Okay, so we've got an improper fraction. We're going to make it to a proper fraction. How many times does 4 go into 9? It goes twice. With how many left over? We've got 1 left over. Okay, so that's minus 2 and a quarter. We can then write the x out the front. We can just swap these around once we have our answer. So x equals minus 2 and a quarter. Solve these equations by finding the pronumeral. So here we have a divide. Remember, the opposite of divide is a times, and we have a minus. The opposite of minus is a plus. We're going to deal with the minus 5 first. And you might say to yourself, do I deal with the minus 5 or the minus 2? Well, the minus 5 is on the same side as the pronumeral. We want that m on its own. So anything on that side, on the left-hand side of the equal sign, we need to get rid of, so m's on its own. So we need to do the opposite of minusing 5, which is plus 5. So we're going to plus 5 to both sides, cross that one out. Remember to bring the m over 3 down, equals minus 2 plus 5 is just 3. Now this is m divided by 3. The opposite to divide by 3 is times 3. And these 3's cancel down, so m equals 9. Let's check that out. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 take away 5 is minus 2. Example 5. Given that y equals 5x minus 3, find x when y equals minus 18. So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute the value of y equals minus 18 in first, write it down, and then we're going to solve as normal. So don't get confused or worried that it's a little bit different. Just follow the rules of substitution and then the rules of equations. So where we see the y, we're going to put in minus 18 equals 5x minus 3. So we want this x on its own. So we're going to deal with the minus 3 first. So what's the opposite of minusing 3? It's plus 3. So we're going to plus 3 to both sides. Minus 18 plus 3 is minus 15 equals 5x, and the 3's just cross out. We're now back to a one-step equation. 5 times x. What's the opposite to timesing by 5? It's divide. So we're going to cross the 5's out to give us x. And minus 15 divided by 5 is minus 3. Remembering when we get to the answer, we can just swap it over. So x equals minus 3. Okay, so that was two-step equations. Go ahead, have a practice. Make sure you're really familiar with those, know what you're doing before you go on to the harder ones.